Hello, folks! It is Thursday, and something hit the news today that caught my attention. It because it's something it's wild. It's something you really don't know how to process. It is about Natalie Greene. She was sort of a help. She is a former congressional staffer for somebody's Congressman Van Drew, who I have no idea who it is, nor do I don't know. She made the headlines this summer because of a kidnapping, assault, mutilation, where parts of her body was cut. And the text, Trump, lady of the night, scribbled on her. And I mean, for obvious reasons, it made the headlines when body cams or photos of body cams, when they found her zip tied, arms behind her back with all of this, and well, it shocking, really shocking. And now I believe it was it today? Let's see, what's the timestamp on this thing? Now, okay, November 14th, but it hit the news or the docket today, where they claim she did it to herself. She did it to herself. Hold on while I block another one of these spam bots over at Kick. Yeah, okay. I'm streaming this on Rumble. Hello, Rumble. Hello, SlidyPie. Here on YouTube. Hello, Mark, Gwendolyn, T42, Sarah, Paladin, Sasha, Denise, and of course, Gigi. And over at Kick, where we have Sneeds. Good to have you all here. So yeah, so this popped up today, where they claim she did it to herself. And let's go to no, not that one. No, not that one. Let's go to the Hill to read a bit on the article, and then we will move on to the actual indictment. The actual indictment. Oh, thank you, Gigi. Please remember, do the YouTube things, like, subscribe, share if you can. Thank you so much. So, former GOP staffer charged with fabricating anti-MAGA assault. A former congressional staffer is accused of staging a fake and self-targeted political attack involving mutilation and derogatory writing on her body. Natalie Greene, 26, who once worked for Representative Jeff Van Drew, Republican from New Jersey, I think that is, faces federal charges of conspiracy and making false statements to law enforcement. Each count carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison. A spokesperson from Van Drew's office says, "We are deeply saddened by today's news. And while Natalie is no longer associated with the congressman's government office, our thoughts and prayers are with her. We hope she's getting the care she needs." How do you zip tie yourself? With great difficulty. With great difficulty, I would say. Prosecutors say Greene schemed with an unnamed co-conspirator to make it seem as if 3 men assaulted and bound her with zip ties in an attack supposedly based on her political beliefs. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so this is... Well, folks, let's get ourselves to the actual indictment here. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see, can I make this bigger? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, let me know if you can read it. United States District Court for the District of New Jersey. This is federal court, by the way. So, which means there will be no streaming from these proceedings, sadly, because this is rough. This is rough. All right, let's continue. Wait. Is this better? No. Is this better? Well, it's bigger at least. Mr. Jingles, what are you doing down there? Mr. Jingles is tearing through some cardboard boxes. All right, let's continue. United States of America versus Natalie Greene. Case number 25 MJ 7070. Criminal complaint. 1. The complainant in this case states that the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief on or about the dates of July 23rd, 2025 and July 25th, 2025 in the county of Atlantic in the District of New Jersey. The defendant violated conspiracy to convey false information and hoaxes and 1 count of false statements. It's 18 U.S.C. 371 and 18 U.S.C. 1001 A2. Yes, of course. Mr. Jingles is innocent of all charges. It's just I can actually hear him tearing through something. Are you eating a rat, Mr. Jingles? If you are, good for you. Good for you. Remind myself to buy dewormer. This criminal complaint is based on these facts. See attachment B. Continued on the attached sheet. Attested to by the applicant in accordance with the requirements of federal blah 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 telephone, specifically reliable electronic means. What? Okay. Sorry, folks. There is something going on down there, and I don't know what it is. What are you doing? Oh, for fuck's sake. What are you doing? Vad gör du? Va? Vad håller du på med? Du har ätit 4 gånger idag. Sorry, folks. As it seems, and I know he will be defended by all of you. I took down some of the things that should go in the trash tomorrow. And I have to reassemble it now. Let's just say that. All right. Where were we? We were there, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Magistrate judge, blah, blah, blah. Contents approved by United States Attorney Patrick C. Askin and Sarah A. Aliabadi. Sorry for attachment A. Conspiracy to convey false information and hoaxes. On or about July 23rd, in Atlantic County in the District of New Jersey and elsewhere, the defendant, Natalie Greene, did knowingly and intentionally conspire and agree with co-conspirator 1 and others to commit certain offenses, to wit, the conveying of false and misleading information, namely that 3 men threatened Greene with a gun while binding her with zip ties under circumstances where such information may reasonably have been believed that indicated that such an activity had taken place, and that would constitute a violation of Chapter 44. That is use of a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence. That is assaulting a person on account of the performance of official duties. A violation of Title 18, United States Code, blah, 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 blah. Mr. Jingles is keeping me agile. Yeah, folks, if you're bored and don't like your furniture, get a cat. Oh. All right, let's continue. Overt acts. In furtherance of this conspiracy and to affect its objects, the following overt acts were committed in the District of New Jersey and elsewhere. Yeah, folks, usually in federal court, the language is drier. It is like watching cement dry. I will do my best to make it more interesting. On or about July 21st, a member of the conspiracy used co-conspirator 1's cell phone, conducted an internet search for zip ties near me. Okay. On or about July 23rd, 2025, defendant Natalie Greene drove from one location in Pennsylvania to another location in Pennsylvania, where she paid individual 1 to cut various portions of Greene's body, including her face, neck, back, and shoulder, with a scalpel. Yeah. Wow. On or about July 23rd, 2025, defendant Natalie Greene drove from Pennsylvania to Ventnor, New Jersey, picked up co-conspirator 1, and eventually drove to Egg Harbor Township Nature Reserve in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. Yeah, this is next level cuckoo. On or about July 23rd, 2025, co-conspirator 1 called 911 and reported that both she and defendant Natalie Greene had been attacked by 3 men at gunpoint after the men called defendant Natalie Greene by name and referenced her employment with federal official 1. That would be, what's his face? Van Damme? No. Van Drew, not Van Damme. Van Drew. On or about July 23rd, 2025, defendant Natalie Greene told police officers that 1 or more of the men who had attacked her said he had a gun and threatened to shoot her, and that 1 or more of the attackers had held her down and restrained her movement, cutting her body and writing on her body. In violation of Title 18, Section 371. Count 2. False statements. On or about July 25th, 2025, in Atlantic County in the District of New Jersey and elsewhere, in a matter within the jurisdiction of the executive branch of the government of the United States, namely the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, or as they say in another case that we follow here, a separate law enforcement agency. They should rename themselves. I should get a T-shirt that says separate law enforcement agency or something of the sort. Natalie Greene did knowingly and willfully make materially false, fictitious, and fraudulent statements and representation, including the following: that Greene was approached by 3 unknown men who physically restrained Greene on the ground, pulled Greene's arms behind her back, and tied her ankles together with zip ties. That one or more of these men struck Greene in the head. That one or more of these men cut into her with a sharp object. That one or more of the men told Greene that he had a gun and ordered Greene not to move, and that one or more of the men told Greene to be quiet or he was going to shoot her. She did this in violation of Title 18. Blah, 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 blah. Attachment B. Here comes the affidavits. Here we go. I, Jenna Lyle, am a special agent with the FBI. I have knowledge of the following facts based on my own investigation, my conversations with other law enforcement officers, and my review of reports, documents, photographs, and video recordings of the evidence. Where statements of others are related herein, they are related in substance and part, because this complaint is being submitted for a limited purpose. I have not set forth each and every fact that I know concerning this investigation. Where I assert that an event took place on a particular date and time, I am asserting that it took place on or about the date and time alleged. This basically means we have more. But this is for the indictment. So that's basically what that means. Ooh, we have more. Boom. The alleged incident. On July 23rd, 2025, at approximately 10:36 p.m., the Egg Harbor Township Police Department received a 911 call stating that 2 women had been attacked by 3 unknown men at the Egg Harbor Township Nature Reserve. The 911 call had been placed by co-conspirator 1, who described herself as a friend of Natalie Greene. On this date, Greene was employed on the staff of federal official 1. Yeah, okay, so that was Van Drew. So at the time, she was employed by him. And somewhere between then and now, he fired her. And I think we can imagine why. 2. During the 911 call, co-conspirator 1 described the alleged attacks as follow. Operator, 911, what's your emergency? Co-conspirator 1, I'm here at the EHT Nature Preserve. I came here with my friend and 3 guys just attacked us. Okay, you're at the Nature Preserve. When you say they attacked you, what do you mean? They were attacking her. They were like talking about politics and stuff. They were like calling her names. Did they physically touch her? And they said they had a gun. And they had a gun. And they said that. And they said that. They said that if we don't be quiet, they were going to shoot us. Okay, did you see the gun? Or did they just say they had one? No, I didn't see it. It's like pitch black out here. They were more focused on her. Like I had one guy like holding me down, and then the other 2 were on her. And I was able to run away. You were able to run away, but they still have your friend? Yeah, I was able to get away from the one guy, but she couldn't get away from the 2 guys. They were holding you down? Yeah, they were like trying to keep it down. So I couldn't help her. I don't even think they were worried about me. Like they were like, why did you think they wanted your friend? What's your friend's name? They were talking about politics. She works for Van Drew. They were like calling her like racist, calling her lady of the night. Like, okay, what was her name? Natalie Greene. 3. Now, this 911 call is obviously longer, but this is what they need to. point out to the magistrate. Hi, Zimmy. Good to have you here. Remember to hit the thumbs up. And by the way, folks, I will, as a forewarning, there will be pictures in this document. Just a forewarning. 3. When Egg Harbor Township police officers arrived at the nature reserve, they met co-conspirator 1 in the parking lot area. Co-conspirator 1 told the police officer that she and Greene had arrived at the nature reserve around 10 p.m. to take a walk on the trail. According to co-conspirator 1, while she and Greene were walking on the trail, they were approached by 3 unknown men. 2 of the men reportedly grabbed and held Greene down, and 1 of the men grabbed co-conspirator 1. The unknown men began talking to co-conspirator 1 and Greene, and they were referred to Greene by her first name, Natalie. Co-conspirator 1 told the officers that she was able to get away from the unknown man who had attempted to restrain her, and she ran toward the parking lot. Co-conspirator 1 then called 911 to report the attack and get help for Greene, who she thought was still out on the trail where the men had restrained her. After making this report to the police officer, co-conspirator 1 led them out to the area where co-conspirator 1 claimed to have last seen Greene. The nature trail is in a heavily wooded area that is extremely dark at night. Egg Harbor Township police officers, using a tracking canine dog, and with assistance from co-conspirator 1, located Greene just off the nature trail, approximately 2,200 feet from the parking lot. What's that? Half a mile? Just under half a mile. When the officers located Greene, she was laying on the ground with her feet and hands bound together with black zip ties. Greene's shirt was pulled up over her head and was also secured with black zip ties. Greene was crying loudly and yelling, "He has a gun, he has a gun." Okay, here comes the first photo. This is from body cam. So this is how they found her. Zip tied and everything. When the officers found Greene, she had numerous lacerations on her right side, including on her face, neck, upper chest, and shoulder. The words "Trump, Lady of the Night" were written on her stomach, and "Van Drew is racist" was written on her back with a black marker. The police officers called for an ambulance, and Greene was carried off the trail into the parking lot by the officers, and then placed into an ambulance where she was attended to by emergency medical technicians and transported to Hospital 1 in New Jersey. Officers took photos of Greene's body at Hospital 1 as follows. Folks, again, these photos are not pleasant. So they were going for a walk in the pitch black. Yeah, apparently 10 p.m. on a summer's night with nobody around, they decided to go there. This is federal official 1, which is Van Drew, is racist, and Trump, Lady of the Night. And you can start to see the things that is cut into her there. There will be more photos. Greene received medical treatment at Hospital 1 and was later transferred to Hospital 2 in New Jersey, where she received medical treatment to close the lacerations on her face, chest, and shoulder. Interviews of co-conspirator 1 and Greene on the night of the incident. Before Greene was transported from the nature reserve to Hospital 1 on July 23, 2025, Egg Harbor Township officers interviewed both co-conspirator 1 and Greene. Co-conspirator 1 told the police officers that she and Greene had driven to the nature reserve together that night in Greene's Maserati sport utility vehicle. How can a political assistant afford a Maserati? Oh, never mind. When law enforcement officers asked co-conspirator 1 and Greene to provide them with the keys to the Maserati, co-conspirator 1 appeared to become agitated. Co-conspirator 1 asked the officers repeatedly why they needed the keys and whether they were going to search the Maserati. Uh-oh. 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 Why do you want to search the car for? The red flag. Red flag. Co-conspirator 1 told the police that she didn't think that the search of the Maserati was necessary and that it didn't make any sense to her. One of the officers tried to explain to co-conspirator 1 and Greene why the search of Greene's Maserati might be necessary. Greene then consented to the search of her Maserati by the officers and signed a written form consenting to the search. So this is before she was taken to the hospital. Okay. The officers searched the Maserati and found 2 black zip ties that was similar to the black zip ties that were used to restrain Greene. The officers also found a roll of pro-essential duct tape. I'm not making tips to criminals, but wait a minute. Why isn't my stream showing up at Rumble? Yeah, for some reason, the Rumble stream never started. Okay, sorry, Slyly. Well, you can't hear me because I'm not streaming. Okay, I'm only at Kick and YouTube apparently. Oh well. But yeah, I don't want to give tips to criminals, but if you plan to do something, which include duct tape and or zip ties, don't store it in the vehicle you're driving there in. Serious. I'm starting to understand how she got caught. Jesus Christ. In an attempt to gather additional information about the men who allegedly had assaulted and bound Greene at the nature reserve, law enforcement officers from Egg Harbor Township interviewed Greene at Hospital 1. Co-conspirator 1 was not present at this interview. Greene made various statements to the law enforcement officers when they encountered her at the nature reserve. She also made statements to the officers during her transport to Hospital 1, as well as while she was being interviewed at Hospital 1. In her statements to the officers, Greene said that she and co-conspirator 1 had arrived at the nature reserve between 9:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. on the night of July 23, 2025. Greene said that she did not see any other cars in the parking lot of the nature reserve. Greene said that she was approached by 3 unknown men who attacked and restrained her. They addressed Greene by her name, and they called Greene a racist and a lady of the night. According to Greene, one of the men said he had a gun, and he would kill Greene if she made any noise. One of the men held an object against Greene and told Greene that it was a gun. Also, one of the men cut into her body with a sharp object. Greene also stated that one or more of the men had written on her. Greene told the officers that she hadn't had any problems with anyone prior to July 23, 2025, other than that Greene works for Van Drew and that there had been, quote unquote, a couple of threats at work, but nothing personal to me. Location data, search of co-conspirator one's cell phone, and video footage. Hi, Derek. Hi, Derek. Good to have you here. Yeah, yeah, Jesse Smollett part 2. On July 24th, 2025, Egg Harbor Township detectives, with assistance from the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office and the FBI, made emergency requests for cellular phone location tower data from cell service providers and obtained the location data for Greene's phone and for co-conspirator one's phone for July 23, 2025. The location data for Greene's phone show that on July 23rd, 2025, Greene traveled to a location in Pennsylvania, which was in the same area of Pennsylvania as the studio of a scarification artist. All right. Scarification is body modification when it goes to the extreme. Let's just say that. Let's continue. Scarification artist, individual one, which is different from co-conspirator one, who is discussed in greater detail below. Greene then traveled to a location in Ventnor, New Jersey, the area of co-conspirator one's known residence. Greene then traveled to a location in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, the area of the nature reserve where Greene was found by law enforcement officers. Yeah, they caught on really, really fast. Yeah, these are not masterminds. Jesus Christ. On July 25th, 2025, law enforcement officers obtained a state search warrant authorizing the seizure and search for co-conspirator one's cell phone. A forensic search of the phone was performed by an Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office detective. This search revealed that on July 21st, 2025, 2 days before law enforcement officers found Greene in a nature preserve bound with zip ties, the user of co-conspirator one's phone had conducted a Google search for zip ties near me. This is rich bitch diagnosis. Hardware store. Walmart. For fuck's sake. You stupid woman. You stupid woman. Why do you actually Google zip ties near me? This is insanely stupid. Yeah, no, not masterminds. She's a law student. Oh wow. Oh wow. This is not healthy. Oh wow. Or Jesus Christ. On July 25th, 2025, law enforcement officers went to the Dollar General store in Ventnor, New Jersey, the same town where co-conspirator one lives. The law enforcement officers observed that store sold 8-inch black zip ties that were consistent in color and size with the zip ties they would use to restrain Greene, which in turn were also consistent with the zip ties that was found in Greene's Maserati. The store also sold Pro Essential duct tape. The law enforcement officer spoke with management of the store and obtained an in-store surveillance video footage from the store security system. This video footage showed co-conspirator 1 inside the store on July 21st, 2025 at approximately 6 p.m., which was approximately 40 minutes after the user of co-conspirator 1's cell phone had conducted an internet search for zip ties near me. But it did not show her purchasing or carrying any zip ties. Oh, notably, the video footage only showed the cash register area and did not cover the aisle in the store where the zip ties were on display. Did you steal the zip ties? Oh, wow. oh Jesus, this is stupid. Interview of Greene on July 25th, 2025, conducted by FBI agents and detectives. On July 25th, 2025, Greene was interviewed by Egg Harbor Township detectives and FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force agents at the Egg Harbor Police Department. I personally participated in this interview, which was video recorded. Oh, please. I want that video. I want that video. At the beginning of the interview, I identified myself as an FBI agent and showed Greene my FBI credentials. During the interview, Greene again described how Greene and co-conspirator 1 were walking on a trail in the nature reserve when they were approached by 3 unknown men. Greene stated that 2 of the men had grabbed Greene and pulled Greene's shirt up over her head and then restrained Greene on the ground, pulling Greene's arms behind her and tying her wrists and ankles together with zip ties. According to Greene, the man had struck Greene in the head, cut into her body with an object, and scraped her. Greene said it hurt her so much that she was screaming. Well, I think she used other words. But this is from the FBI agent, and it will be very, 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 very dry. Greene stated that one of the men said he had a gun and told Greene not to move. Another man held Greene's head down to the ground. Greene said she was screaming for help, and one of the men told her to be quiet or he was going to shoot her. Greene stated that she didn't actually see a gun, but one of the men pushed an object against the stomach, which she believed to be a gun. She said that she didn't see the gun because her head was covered with her shirt. When asked about threats at work and why Greene thought that this assault happened, Greene advised that law enforcement. Okay, here's some of the interview questions. Some of the postcards that you get at work, is there anything written on them that's similar to what was done to you? The words that they used. There are so many. I mean, yeah, racist, windmills belong on your grave, like stupid. I mean, like they have a bunch of little things on there that they write on there. We have them all. You can look at all of them. But yeah, we keep all of our hate mail. Recently got like a letter with like powder in it and stuff. A couple of politicians got like law enforcement. That was recent. Yeah, very recent, like maybe a week ago. And or to the point where our chief of staff was like, you guys need to be using gloves to open the mail, stuff like that. This was reported to Capitol Police. Yeah, they report everything to Capitol Police. But yeah, I mean, our protesters have been really bad recently. Does it start with Northfield Police when something that comes in? Then it goes to Capitol Police, or do you go directly to... He calls Capitol Police when Northfield gets involved. Okay, now we get into Greene's cell phone. On July 25th, 2025, detectives obtained a search warrant authorizing the seizure and search of Greene's cell phone. A forensic cell phone extraction was completed by Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office detectives. The search of Greene's phone revealed a Reddit profile for Greene that include follow communities for quote-unquote body mods and quote-unquote scarification. I how did she get into law school? Did daddy pay her way in? Because if you attended a few classes at law school and actually paid attention, I don't think I don't think that this is so stupid. A review of Greene's map history revealed that Greene obtained directions to a tattoo parlor body modification scarification artist located in Pennsylvania. Then directions to co-conspirators once the residence in Ventnor, then the Dunkin' Donuts, and then to the Egg Harbor Township Nature Reserve. So she oh, the moron did the Google Maps thing. I'm going from there to there to there to there. Allegedly. There was a missed call and a voicemail from the body modification scarification artist on July 7th, 2025, advising Greene to message him on Instagram. Detectives found a waiver form from the body modification scarification studio to Greene on July 23rd, 2025. Detectives also found a series of Instagram messages with a user that was later determined to be a body modification scarification artist in Pennsylvania, Individual 1. In these messages, Greene apologized to Individual 1 for being late and told Individual 1 that, due to heavy traffic on the way, she expected to arrive at the studio around 2 p.m. on July 23rd. Interview of Individual 1 on July 30th. This is the body modification artist. Now, co-conspirator 1 is the friend of Natalie Greene. Individual 1 is probably a witness, and the name is redacted for reasons. So co-conspirator 1 and individual 1 is not the same person. This individual 1 is the body modification artist, which allegedly Natalie Greene hired to do the things on her body: face, shoulder, neck, and back. Okay, interview with the body modification artist. On July 30th, 2025, I traveled with detectives to a location in Pennsylvania, and we interviewed the person at his studio. A detective also spoke with another individual at the studio. The studio requires clients to present identification and sign a waiver prior to the procedure. The detective obtained a copy of a consent form signed by Greene and a copy of a New Jersey driver's license. Those items were received by the studio on July 23rd, 2025 at 2:31 p.m. Oh, wow. Law enforcement officers were also provided with a copy of Greene's receipt from services she received at the studio. This receipt reflected that Greene had paid the studio $500 in cash for mod work by the artist. X1 scarification. The receipt was dated July 23rd, 2025 at 6:09 p.m. The artist provided the investigators with copies of his Instagram messages with Greene. In these messages, Greene inquired about the available type of patterns, and Greene sent a photo to Individual 1 to show him the particular pattern of scarification she was interested in. Greene also asked Individual 1 about the level of pain that she could expect from the scarification procedure and the products that she could use to prevent bleeding after the procedure. Individual 1 provided investigators with photos of Greene that he took after the scarification had been completed on the afternoon of July 23, 2025, in his studio in Pennsylvania. The photos from Individual 1 reflect that the cuts made to Greene's skin by Individual 1 at Greene's request follow the exact same patterns as the lacerations that were observed on Greene when she was found lying on the ground in the Egg Harbor Township Nature Preserve, as well as the lacerations that were observed on Greene and photographed at Hospital 1 later the same evening. The photo comparisons is as follows. Okay, folks, here comes the photos, and why would she scar her body and face for this hoax? I don't know. These two women put a plan together for sympathy, I would imagine. But I mean, yeah, seriously. Fame, going to talk shows and tell everybody how show off the scars. Yeah, somehow these two morons convinced each other that this was a good idea. Okay, folks, trigger warning. Picture on the left is the photo from the body modification artist. Picture number 2 is the hospital photo. Yeah. She paid somebody to do that to herself, to do that on her, so she could perform a sympathy hoax. I warned you. I did warn you. Pursuant to federal blah blah blah, Special Agent Jenna Lyle was sworn and attested to the contents of this affidavit in support of the complaint and arrest warrant for defendants Natalie Greene. On what's going on here? Yeah, as Sneed says, moronic doesn't even cover it. It doesn't even begin to cover it. Jan says that's never going away. No, it's not. Those lacerations, no, body modification artists are very, very thorough. Now, she should have gotten how to take care of it and everything. But those are deep lacerations. And even with the best of stitches, those will stay with her. Those will stay with her. And so this, I mean, there's been hoaxes like this in every country for many, many years. Different, I mean, over here, we had a guy who cut a swastika in his forehead and claimed it was done by a non-white person because he belonged to a political party that was founded once upon a time by actual fans of Austrian failed painter. I mean, throughout history, it's filled with people who, oh, I know how to get sympathy, and they will get caught, because if you're that stupid, you will leave tracks. And these two girls Googled, contacted. So what Natalie Greene did that day, or for some time leading up to this, contacted modification. They have planned this for quite some time. And then on July 23rd at 2:30 p.m., she walked into that studio. The scarification process was done by roughly 6 p.m., where she probably got all the things covered up, I mean, with bandages and stuff, liksom, because you don't want it to bleed all over the place. And then they drove. Oh, first they visited a Dunkin' Donuts. Then they drove to the park and made all of this up. So she then removed all the protection, and apparently her friend, now we got the answer how did she zip tie herself? Probably not. Her friend did. And then left her there in a nature reserve in the dark. Derek Ross on, did she rip the stitches? Oh, in body scarification, there are no stitches. It's open wounds that is supposed to become big scars. But her friend left her there to run down to the parking lot to call 911 in a nature reserve. There are wild animals in that nature reserve. They didn't think about that. Now, she was lucky that there wasn't any. Let's see, what was the name of that nature reserve again? Egg Harbor Township Nature Reserve. Let's see, what kind of wildlife do they have? Okay, all right. So that nature reserve doesn't really have any of the larger predators. But again, wild dogs, coyote. I mean, it's moronic. And they left everything for the cops to more or less figure it out the same day, but they needed a couple of days to get the warrants. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no wonder she got fired. And what goes through the minds of these people? I don't know. Somehow, two women, well paid, law school student, thought to themselves, yeah, this is a good idea. And they left every trace. But I'm really interested in knowing what was the original thought? They could have just claimed that, I mean, they could have walked out there and they could have grab a rock or punch me for the more or less the same effect. Well, with the scarification, I mean, the effect is so much larger, but it's more or less, we were attacked. Look at what they did to us. And then throw the stone away. But no, this elaborate scheme with scarification, zip ties, left every trace. Oh yeah, I really, really want to see the police body cams and the interviews. Yeah, I will try. I will try. Now, this is a federal court, so there will be no cameras. And looking through the charging document, she doesn't have an attorney yet. I will follow this case because it's interesting. It really is very, very interesting to try to get into the mindset of these two morons. And but yeah, that is what I had for you. This, when it showed up in my feed, I need to cover this. I really, really need to cover this. And both these girls, well, one more than the other, this will haunt them for the rest of their lives. For one really, really stupid idea. All right, folks. Thank you guys for listening in. Thank you. You know this. You are the guys. This is why I do this, because of you guys. Because you show up every time, you listen, and sometimes I find something that surprises us all. And this case is one of them. All right, folks. You all have a continuous good Thursday. I got a new Judge Simpson episode coming up at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I set it up as a premiere. It's a little bit longer, but it's so funny. It has one of these. Okay, they actually said that. All right, folks. Thank you again. You all have a good one, and I will see you guys in the next stream or video. Bye-bye.
Sail the raven waves, brothers.